Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first part of my new three-part series where I completely rewrite Ezekiel in total drama. In this series, I'm gonna rewrite him in Island, Action, and World Tour. Oh, yeah, I'm putting him in action, by the way. Failed to mention that. And if this series gets enough support, I'll do All Stars as well. Anyways, let's begin. So, the first episode is the classic cliff dive. What? That's not. The first episode is the classic cliff dive, and if anyone watches this episode, you could probably guess who's gonna get out here if it's not Ezekiel. It's Courtney. Now I want to say I'm still gonna have him saying his sexist comment because it actually plays into the storyline I want to make for him. My idea is that Jeff realizes, hey, wait a second, this dude is homeschooled. We should probably help him instead of booting him off immediately. And I can't remember if he's friends with DJ yet, but I'm just going to say he is. And Harold too, as he's more of the geeky type. And I feel like he'd be naturally drawn to help him. And of course, at this point, none of the women are going to want to help him because, you know. Anyways, next episode. The Big Sleep. I don't really have anything I want to do with Eva, so I'm gonna say she still throws a fit and still gets out. Yeah. Next up is Dodge Brawl. They had a lot of the less athletic characters like Owen, Cody, and Harold do pretty well, so I'm gonna go ahead and say Ezekiel also does pretty well. And even though Courtney isn't there to encourage them to wake Duncan up, I'm gonna say that I can't really change what happened for the Gophers. And as much as I think Heather would be the only other option to reasonably boot out here, except maybe Owen since he was the last one when they lost. But I'm still going to say can't really save Noah as much as I like him. Sorry. Next challenge is the talent show. And I don't see how Justin got out in the original. I imagine they wouldn't let Ezekiel go up, so even if he does suck, it doesn't matter. I imagine Harold would still do his beatboxing thing and come in klutz. Heather would still bomb the challenge for her team, and I'm gonna say she gets out. No plot armor. I don't see how she survived in the first place. Honestly. Next up is the camping episode. Since Katie and Sadie are both still here, they both wander off and cost their team the challenge. Katie gets eliminated as usual. And next one is Phobia Factor. We only have two characters that have been swapped out, so I'm just gonna analyze how these new characters would do. Justin, I imagine, would not do it, and Ezekiel, I imagine, would do it, because, I don't know, I kind of feel like he just would. I want to say that Justin gets out here, but then again, I'm not exactly sure. And if I remember correctly, Cody wasn't able to conquer his fear, and like I just said, Justin wouldn't. And between the two of these, I imagine Justin could probably manipulate a lot of the girls, since his team is mostly girls, into voting Cody off. Which is a shame, because they actually have something planned between him and Zeke in the future. Next episode is Up the Creek, and no matter what happens, Izzy still gets chased off by the Canadian government, so she's still out. Next episode. This one's the paintball episode, and we actually have a lot to change because of the absence of Heather and Cody. So first, I'm going to separate them from the hunter and the deer. So, the 4 on the left are the hunters, and the 3 or 4 on the right are the deer. And I feel like with this collection of individuals we have, especially with DJ acting as a deer for the bass, I'm going to say the Gophers still lose, though, even though the outcome would be massively different. Just like how Heather had Beth and Lindsay wrapped around their finger, I'm going to say Justin would also have the same effect and convince them to vote someone out. I'm going to say he convinces them to vote out Trent because, Gwen is the only member on his team that he would be currently unable to swoon because of Trent. That also goes for Owen too, because, Owen likes Justin, and that's good for him. Next episode is If You Can't Take the Heat. I also completely forgot to mention that, yeah, Beth still has the cursed tiki thing, and I'm gonna say that Justin turns around, and since he's basically able to convince the entire team to vote on whoever he wants to vote on, they're gonna kick Beth, as usual. I'm gonna have to pause for a second because I'm not really sure how to approach Who Can You Trust. Well, I noticed that Jeff, DJ, and Duncan are all still here, so that's one thing you can keep the same. We can still have the whole Duncan saves or gives DJ a new rabbit to make him feel better about the other one leaving him. Also, at this point, I really need to make the bass lose somehow, so I'm just not going to elaborate on this one. I'm just going to say Sadie gets out here as usual. I'm not really sure what else would keep her here longer. Honestly, the only reason that she's made it this far is because the other team has had a horrible luck streak. She probably would have been the next one to get out anyway. Next is basics training. Like last time, Gwen wins the challenge for her team, so the Bass have to eliminate someone. And I'd say the obvious boot for this side is because these four are kind of working like a pact right now. I'd say they'd want to vote off Duncan. Oh no, it's either Duncan or Tyler. It's not going to be Bridget, because Jeff is boyfriend-girlfriend with her. But also, I don't think it would be Duncan, because Duncan got DJ a new rabbit. Which leaves Tyler to be the one who's eliminated, finally. And at this point, I actually have to vote out, or kick out one of the guys, so that we can have what happens next episode. So I'm going to say Harold still loses to... Wait, no, actually, no. Heather isn't here, so there's no chest for him to see and get distracted by and lose. At this point, some may bring up Ezekiel, because at this point, their assistance to him would probably wear off. But I'd say that Ezekiel would do very good in this season. In fact, I feel like out of all the seasons, out of the first three, this is the one that he would shine the most in. I just feel like the simplicity of it all would make it easier on him. And out of all of the guys here, I feel like the one that's most likely to be voted off is DJ, since he's kind of like the weakest link at the moment. And they don't know that the merge is about to happen. So, first, let's just do something real quick. I also made a miscalculation. There's 6 guys and 4 girls left, so I'm gonna have to do something. I'm gonna have Eva and Izzy rejoin early. But still, no one's gonna get eliminated this episode, so it doesn't really matter too much. I'd say with the combination of Owen and Ezekiel, the guys would win this one pretty easily. Although I think Eva could also pull through for the girls. But still, it's 2-1. I feel like the guys would still win here. And the reason I'm saying Ezekiel will be good at this is because I imagined, as being homeschooled and always being like at the house, he would have this thing where he's okay with a lot of gross food. And so now, Dunkin' Donuts, we have officially made to the merge. I'm gonna say Lashana still wins, and Eva gets booted off as always. Sorry. Oh yeah, I gotta delete these teams and change some stuff around. Okay. Adding on to his whole plot of he's getting better from the naive country boy he once was, I'm just gonna go ahead and say, oh no! Thank Christmas, it's saved. Anyways, as I was saying, Ezekiel's gonna win the immunity thing here. Now, I feel like at this point, the 4 other guys that are not Justin and Owen would get together and realize, hey, Justin, he's a pretty big threat. If he gets far, we could all be toast. And Justin at this point would think that he's safe because he hasn't really made any enemies yet that aren't eliminated. And so he wouldn't orchestrate for all of the girls, and Owen, to vote off someone else. So, they're all just gonna, have scattered votes. since no one here has made any, like, really big enemies. So I'm going to say that leaves the majority of votes to go to Justin. Or at least for Justin to have the most votes. He wouldn't get the majority of voters, but he'd still get the most. So next is the hide and seek episode. Oh boy. This is the episode I remember the least from, besides the ones that I haven't rewatched, which we're about to get to. More importantly than who would lose, who would gain immunity. I'm gonna add an extra column for that. Cool. So I'm gonna say Lashana still wins, and I don't see any of these guys to be the snitch type, so I'm gonna say she's the only one. So at this point, I think Duncan would want Harold gone, because, he's kind of like the nerd's bully kind of character. But Ezekiel's friends with Harold, and not that close with Duncan, so he probably isn't going to vote him off. Although I do think Harold will get the majority votes here. And then Ezekiel, because of all the things he's been taught, even with that, he's still not very smart. So even at the end, he would stand up to Duncan and say, "Hey, I voted for you, not him." Think of it like Suitcase in that one episode. The difference is that Duncan is not going home, and Ezekiel has only made things worse for himself. So, looking for allies and not really thinking of many to gain among the women, because, he said some bad things. He'd probably turn to these four, I imagine, because Lindsay isn't very smart. Owen would probably side with him, and Owen likes Izzy. I don't actually remember if that's a plot yet. Hold on. Oh, wait, hold on a second. This is the bike one. This is an automatic elimination. It means Ezekiel gets to survive for another episode. And with these garbage rules taken into account, I'm gonna say that, first of all, the ones that actually get to compete, I'm gonna say it's this 5. And, since the ones that cross the line technically have immunity for some reason. I mean, the ones that don't cross the line technically have immunity. So, as per usual, that includes Duncan and Owen. And between these three, I'm going to say that Jeff crosses first, Lindsay crosses second, and Gwen crosses last, which means that she is eliminated. Wow. Now we get to the good one. I also love how it unironically says in the Camp Castaways section where it says who gets eliminated, Mr. Coconut. I don't know, it just cracks me up so much. I don't know why they put that there. I get they have fake elimination next to it, but still, they still said that the character who got up for elimination this episode was none other than the Mr. Coconut. So this is a pretty peculiar final 8, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Pretty similar, just with Lindsay, Bridget, and Ezekiel instead of Gwen, DJ, and Heather. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to spoil something real quick. Ezekiel's not going to win this season. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to the point where I have to drop off Ezekiel at some point, because I don't think he should win this season. As much as it would make sense for him to win the more simple season, I'm going to say that he doesn't win this season. Not sure if he's going to actually win any season, but, I mean, even then it's going to be better than what we have. It's going to be better than what's canon no matter what. Since DJ isn't here to do his whole coward thing, it's just going to be based off of who the first person to get caught was. And if you remember, that was Izzy and Owen at the same time. And how do I manage this? Let's find out. Okay. Very interesting. So Owen enters the tent first. So I guess this means that Owen's the one who gets out here. So the next one is Wawanaka. This is the one where they had to find the animals, right? And Izzy gets voted off here for going crazy with the darts. I'm gonna keep that the same. Goodbye, Izzy. And the next one is the triathlon. Despite this being a maddeningly different cast, I'm gonna say that Duncan and Lashana are still paired up. I'm gonna put Jeff with his girlfriend because I'm nice to him. And I'm gonna put Ezekiel with Lindsay because they were friends. Wow, these matchups actually kind of work out. Yay. And I'm gonna say that um no one wins like in the original. And I'm gonna say at this point, after all this time, uh Ezekiel doesn't feel like he's in danger, but the three girls all team up to vote him off because they still can't forgive him for what he said. So Ezekiel comes in 6th place, better than 22nd. This time I'm actually going to be reasonable about this. And for one last time, just for fun, Justin pulls one last maneuver. And I'm going to say he kicks off Lindsay. Or rather they, but really just Justin convincing a bunch of other people to do what he wants. And then we have the fun ha 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 Camp Castaways episode. I'm gonna keep Mr. Coconut in and then eliminate him. No, not Mr. Coconut. And then, are we there yet? We still have gender pairs, so we can do that. And I'm gonna say that Lashana is pretty sneaky, so they're gonna pair up, and Duncan's gonna get the boot as usual. Leaving our final three in the Triple Dog Dare Challenge to be Jeff, Bridget, and Lashana. Oh, it's been running this entire... Oh my god! Sorry, I forgot to pause it. I was just thinking about how to handle this final three, because I'm not really sure what to do. I imagine Jeff would be like Owen, and he's gonna take basically anything, since he's a very chill dude. Imagine if anyone gets out here, Bridget gets out here, because she's a vegan and she can easily be doing things that she would not like. And both of these two would have alternative episodes, so I'm just gonna go in depth on how those would play out. In one ending, Jeff is drawn by, I don't know, Bridget, let's just say. And in the other one, Lashana is drawn by Justin. So in either way, both these two win. Good grabulous. Hey. And that was rewriting. Well, a lot of that did not feel focused on Ezekiel. My bad. Less of rewriting Ezekiel and more of Ezekiel got help. Don't worry. If this gets enough attention, I will put way more effort into the Action and World Tour video. Anyway, so this is how I think it would play out if people tried to help Zeke, and if the writers actually turned him into more than just a joke character. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.